If you go to bed after midnight more than twice a week, you're literally programming your heart to fail. And nobody's telling you this. Did you know that people who consistently sleep after midnight have a 47% higher risk of developing cardiovascular disease compared to those who sleep before 11? That's not a typo. 47%. So why does going to bed early actually fail for most people? And what's the one missing biological switch that makes or breaks whether your heart stays healthy or quietly deteriorates while you scroll through your phone at 2 a.m.? You're about to learn the exact 4-step protocol that can literally add years to your life. And stick around for step 3 because it's a completely counterintuitive timing hack that changed everything for me, and it's something almost nobody's talking about. First, let's be brutally honest for a second. It's maddening when you know you should go to bed earlier, you set the intention, you even put your phone down, and then somehow it's 1:30 a.m. and you're watching videos about things you don't even care about. I've been there. For years. To fix this, we can't just use willpower. We need to understand the biology that's hijacking your natural sleep rhythm and turning your cardiovascular system into a ticking time bomb. Today, we're breaking this down into 4 parts. The hidden mechanism that's destroying your circadian rhythm and your heart simultaneously, the exact protocol for resetting your sleep-wake cycle, that advanced timing strategy I mentioned for when nothing else seems to work, and the one supplement stack that amplifies everything. By the end of this video, you won't just understand why your bedtime matters for your heart, you'll have a step-by-step blueprint to fix it starting tonight. Most people think the answer is just discipline. Set an alarm, be in bed by 10, just do it. But here's why that backfires 90% of the time. Your body doesn't run on discipline, it runs on hormones. Specifically cortisol and melatonin. And if you've been going to bed late for months or years, you've trained your body to produce these hormones at completely the wrong times. It's like trying to drive a car in reverse on the highway. You're not lazy, you're biochemically wired to stay awake. Here's what actually happens. When you stay up past 11 p.m., your cortisol, which should be bottoming out, gets a second wind. Your body thinks you're in danger. It thinks there's a threat, so it keeps you alert. Meanwhile, melatonin, your sleep hormone, gets suppressed. This isn't a choice you're making. This is your endocrine system treating midnight like it's noon. And here's where your heart comes in. Every single night you stay awake past your natural circadian window, your blood pressure stays elevated. Your heart rate doesn't drop into that restorative parasympathetic state. Your inflammatory markers, things like C-reactive protein, start climbing. Do this for weeks, months, years. And you're literally laying the groundwork for heart disease, stroke, and arterial damage.
But it gets worse. Late night eating. When you're awake at midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., your body's insulin sensitivity is at its lowest point of the entire 24-hour cycle. So that snack you're eating, even if it's quote-unquote healthy, is spiking your blood sugar in a way that wouldn't happen at noon. High blood sugar at night means more oxidative stress, more arterial inflammation, more damage to your cardiovascular system while you sleep. Real quick, drop a comment right now if you're someone who gets a second wind after 10 p.m. and suddenly feels wired. Let me know, because what I'm about to say next is specifically designed for you. So here's the fix. We call this the Circadian Reset Protocol. It's 4 steps, and every single one matters. Step 1. Lock in your wake-up time. Not your bedtime, your wake-up time. This is the anchor. Most people try to go to bed earlier, but their body doesn't cooperate because their internal clock is still set to late-night mode. Instead, you wake up at the exact same time every single day, weekends included. No exceptions, even if you only slept 4 hours. This is non-negotiable for the first 2 weeks. What this does is it forces your cortisol to spike at the right time, first thing in the morning, which then triggers a natural melatonin release 12 to 14 hours later. Step 2, get bright light in your eyes within 30 minutes of waking, and I mean bright. Sunlight is ideal, 10 to 15 minutes outside without sunglasses. If that's not possible, use a 10,000 lux light therapy lamp. This light exposure is what sets your master clock in your brain, the suprachiasmatic nucleus. It tells your entire body this is morning, which means 12 hours from now, this is night. Without this step, you're trying to reset your sleep schedule with one hand tied behind your back. Step 3, institute a hard cutoff for screens and bright light after 8 p.m. This is where most people fail. They do everything right during the day and then they blast blue light into their eyes from 8 p.m. until they try to sleep. Blue light suppresses melatonin by up to 50%. Even if you're wearing blue light glasses, even if your phone is on night mode, it's still affecting you. After 8 p.m., your environment needs to be dim, warm lighting only. Candles, salt lamps, low wattage bulbs. Think cave mode. Step 4, and this is critical, eat your last meal at least 3 hours before bed and make sure it's low in refined carbs. Remember, insulin sensitivity crashes at night. If you eat a big carb-heavy meal at 9 or 10 p.m., your blood sugar will spike, your insulin will spike, and your body will be in fat storage mode instead of repair mode. Worse, high insulin at night blocks growth hormone release, which is one of the main hormones responsible for cardiovascular repair while you sleep. But here's the thing, you can do steps 1, 2, and 4 perfectly and still struggle if you skip step 3, which is why the timing of light exposure is the secret weapon I promised you earlier.
Remember at the beginning when I told you about the one change that completely shifted my sleep and my heart health markers? This is it. Most people think light exposure is just a morning thing, but the real game changer is dimming your environment aggressively after sunset, not just turning off overhead lights. I'm talking about creating a physiological transition that your body recognizes as nighttime. Here's the science. Your eyes have specialized cells called intrinsically photosensitive retinal ganglion cells. These cells are directly wired to your circadian clock. They don't care about images or colors. They only care about brightness. When they detect bright light, especially blue wavelengths, they send a signal to your brain that says, "It's daytime, stay awake." When they detect dim, warm light, they allow melatonin production to ramp up. Most experts ignore this because it seems too simple, but chemically, it's everything. When I started dimming all my lights to less than 10% brightness after 8 p.m. and switching to warm 2000 Kelvin bulbs, my sleep latency, the time it took me to fall asleep, dropped from 40 minutes to under 10. My deep sleep percentage increased by 30%, and my resting heart rate, which had been hovering around 68 beats per minute, dropped to 54 within 3 weeks. But the real kicker? My blood pressure. I had slightly elevated blood pressure for years, around 130/85. Nothing terrible, but not optimal. Within 6 weeks of fixing my light exposure and sleep timing, it dropped to 115/75. My doctor couldn't believe it. No medication, just biology. Now, if you've tried everything and you're still struggling, there's an advanced layer most people miss, and it involves strategic supplementation. Magnesium glycinate, 300 to 400 milligrams, 90 minutes before bed. Not magnesium oxide, not magnesium citrate, glycinate. It crosses the blood-brain barrier, it activates GABA receptors, and it physically relaxes your cardiovascular system. Studies show it can lower nighttime blood pressure by up to 10 points. L-theanine, 200 milligrams, 60 minutes before bed. This amino acid increases alpha brain waves, which are associated with relaxed wakefulness transitioning into sleep. It also reduces cortisol and supports parasympathetic nervous system activation. Translation, your heart rate drops, your blood vessels dilate, and your body shifts into repair mode. And here's the controversial one, low-dose melatonin. And when I say low dose, I mean 0.3 to 1 milligram, not the 5 or 10 milligram pills they sell at the drugstore. Those doses are way too high and can actually desensitize your melatonin receptors over time. A small dose, taken 90 minutes before your target sleep time, can help re-entrain your circadian rhythm without creating dependency. But here's what nobody tells you. These supplements only work if you're doing the foundational steps. If you're taking magnesium at 10 p.m. and then scrolling on your phone until midnight with the lights on, you're wasting your money. The supplements amplify a system that's already moving in the right direction. They don't override broken behavior. Let's connect the dots. Why does all of this matter specifically for your heart? Your cardiovascular system has its own circadian rhythm. Blood pressure naturally dips by 10 to 20% during sleep. This is called nocturnal dipping. and it's essential for long-term heart health. People who don't experience this dip, called non-dippers, have significantly higher rates of heart attack, stroke, and sudden cardiac death. What causes non-dipping? Late sleep timing, chronic stress, light exposure at night, eating late, all the things we just talked about. When you go to bed after midnight, your body doesn't get enough time in deep sleep and REM sleep. Deep sleep is when your heart rate and blood pressure drop to their lowest levels. It's when your parasympathetic nervous system fully takes over. It's when your body repairs damaged blood vessels, clears out arterial plaque, and resets inflammation levels. Cut that short, and you're literally aging your cardiovascular system faster. There's also something called heart rate variability, or HRV. It's the variation in time between each heartbeat, and it's one of the best predictors of overall health and longevity. High HRV means your nervous system is flexible and resilient. Low HRV means you're stuck in fight-or-flight mode. And guess what tanks your HRV faster than almost anything else? Poor sleep timing and insufficient deep sleep. When I started going to bed before 11 and prioritizing my circadian rhythm, my HRV went from an average of 40 milliseconds to over 70 within 2 months. That's a massive shift, and it directly correlates with lower cardiovascular risk. So here's what this actually looks like in practice. You set your alarm for 7 a.m. every single day. Non-negotiable. You get outside or sit in front of your light therapy lamp by 7:30. You go about your day. You eat your last meal by 6 or 7 p.m. At 8 p.m., you dim every light in your house. You switch your phone to grayscale mode or put it in another room. You take your magnesium and L-theanine around 8:30. By 9:30 or 10, you're winding down with a book, stretching, breath work, whatever helps you transition, and you're asleep by 10:30 or 11. Is it perfect every night? No, but consistency is what resets the system. 4 nights a week of perfect execution is infinitely better than 0.
And here's the thing, you'll feel the difference within 72 hours. Your energy will stabilize, your mood will improve, and within 2 to 3 weeks, your body will start naturally getting tired at the right time. You won't need willpower anymore. You'll just feel sleepy at 10 p.m. because your biology is finally working with you instead of against you. So to bring this home, you're stopping the late-night scrolling and light exposure that's destroying your melatonin production. You're starting the Circadian Reset Protocol with locked wake times and strategic light exposure. You're absolutely prioritizing that dim light environment after 8 p.m. because it's the single most underrated factor in heart health and sleep quality. And if you want to accelerate the process, you're adding magnesium glycinate, L-theanine, and low-dose melatonin to support your system. This isn't about discipline, it's about biology, and your heart will thank you. If this video helped you, let me know in the comments what your biggest takeaway was. And if you want more content like this, breaking down the actual science of health optimization without the fluff, hit that subscribe button. Your bedtime isn't just about feeling rested, it's about whether your heart gets to repair itself every single night or whether it's slowly breaking down. Choose wisely.